If you do a non-contrast and a CT scan with contrast enhanced, it will be show a hypodense lesion. I will show you. It will be initially non-contrast CT will show it's a hypodense lesion on the right hand side, the top one, the black one, and then when you give contrast, arterial contrast, it doesn't quickly fill up because these are hemangiomas. So it will start filling up from the periphery, and towards the end, towards the latter part or delayed phases, you will see that it's filling up because these are venous, and later it will be completely washed out. So this is known as cotton wool appearance, where it enhances in the periphery. So this is again a quite a diagnostic test. So you if there are really big lesions, if the ultrasound scan, if they have any doubt, contrast enhanced CT scan will be very useful in making a definitive diagnosis of these lesions, because once its diagnosis is made, we can reassure the patient. And especially in hemangiomas, you should not do any FNACs on or do any true cut biopsies of these lesions. It's a contraindication. MRI scan is again, it has the best sensitivity. It's about 90 to 95% sensitive. If you have doubt in the contrast enhanced CT scan, you can always go for MRI scan. Now management, I told you earlier also, most of the small lesions can be safely left. No follow-up is needed. Larger ones, because of the risk of spontaneous rupture, there may be an indication to do studies, but most of the studies where they have longitudinal studies where they have followed up these patients for 10-15 years, rupture rate is minimal actually. So it's a balance between the two, but if symptomatic, you have to resect. The problem with these lesions is once you make a big hemangioma diagnosed, patient will constantly come behind you saying that there's pain, till you resect the tumor, she will be coming back with pain. So because of that, if symptomatic, it is better to resect early and finish it off, because otherwise your clinic will be, she'll be kind of pestering you, especially these females come and pestering you. Guys, of course, will not come back. Then next common thing is focal nodular hyperplasia. This is again second commonest one. Again, usually asymptomatic, common in females, 20 to 30 years of age, and prevalence is about 0.4 to 3%, which I don't know nobody is interested. Now, these focal nodular hyperplasias, if you look at the pathology of them, they are normal liver cells in a group together. There is no capsule in it. Liver cells with extra fibrotic tissue in that. So it looks like if you look at it in a microscope, it will be like a cirrhotic liver, right? But there is no other abnormality. So it doesn't carry any risk of malignancy here. So if you make a definitive diagnosis, there is no risk of malignancy, right? It's just like a cirrhotic liver, right? That particular area, and there is no capsule. The problem with this hemangioma, the focal nodular hyperplasia, is that it is very difficult to on radiology to differentiate between a focal nodular hyperplasia and another benign lesion called hepatic adenomas. So this is the only indication where we can ask the radiologist to do a biopsy or a true cut for us to make a diagnosis. Because if it's an adenoma, we have to do surgery. But if it's a focal nodular hyperplasia diagnosed, confirmed, then we don't have to do anything, even if it's large, because there is no risk of rupture, there is no risk of malignant potential. So because of that, focal nodular hyperplasia, irrespective of the size, can be left alone without any problem. Now, ultrasound scan, how do you see it? You see it as a ill-defined solid mass with hypoechoic, because I told you this contains fibrotic tissue. Because of the fibrosis, the echogenicity will be slightly higher than normal. So you might see little hypoechoic lesion, but very ill-defined. There is no capsule in it. And sometimes rarely you might see a thing called radial scar, which is a diagnostic of this focal nodular hyperplasia. It's called radial scar. There's fibrosis, you can see it as a scar, but I can't see anything here, but it's known as radial scar, where in the center you might see it as a so this focal nodular hyperplasia, even the contrast enhanced CT, because it's a bit of arterial thing, you will see it as a hyperdense lesion. So that's why you see it as white, and then in the center you see it as a hypodense area, that is the fibrous scar. Rest of the thing is hyper. So this is, again, you can make a definitive diagnosis with CT or ultrasound scan. You don't have to worry at all, irrespective of the size. There's another lesion like that, right? Next is a hepatocellular adenoma. Forget about this incident, very rare, but it's commonly occurring in females who are taking OCPs and estrogen therapy. And mind you, this sometimes it can grow during the pregnancy. And the problem with these hepatocellular adenomas is that they can rupture during pregnancies, or if it's bigger, it can have the potential it can rupture. So that is the worry of these lesions, and it also carries the risk of malignant transformation. So because of these reasons, we have to resect it. Once we make a diagnosis, we have to make a clear diagnosis and resect it. Right? It's very difficult to differentiate between radiologically with the focal nodular hyperplasia. That's the problem. So in these situations, I think we have to go for a biopsy. Right. So these are the common benign lesions that I mentioned. Right. And now we are just going to malignant lesions. Right. Commonest two malignant lesions are hepatocellular carcinomas and liver cirrhosis. These are the two common malignancies that we see, but there are of course other malignancies that we see, but these are the common malignancies. Primary malignancies of the liver, actually hepatocellular carcinoma is about 90% of the primary liver malignancies. Other primary liver malignancies are extremely rare. Common findings are the liver secondaries, right? Now, if you look at the hepatocellular carcinoma, I'm not going to go into details of hepatocellular carcinoma. You know hepatocellular carcinomas occur in the background of cirrhosis or chronic liver failure, chronic liver disease like hepatitis B and C infections, right? So, if you happen to, if you see a patient with cirrhosis, actually you must, chronic liver cell disease, you must put them on a screening program where you will do regular screening on ultrasound scan to detect these lesions. So most of these hepatocellular carcinomas that come to us are not really incidental ones, but mostly are screening detected ones, right? I told you most of them are in the background of cirrhosis. So when you analyze a ultrasound scan report, if there's a lesion which is like a hypodense lesion, but surrounding tissues there is cirrhosis and there is irregular borders, then you must always consider whether it's a possibility of a hepatocellular carcinoma, and then this is the time that you will think of doing some serological testing like tumor markers, right? And in non-cirrhotic livers, there's another hepatocellular carcinoma that occurs. It's called fibrolamellar type carcinoma, which carries a very good prognosis, excellent prognosis, and and strangely though, it is the alpha feta protein levels are usually normal, doesn't go up in this fibrolamellar type of carcinomas. Now this is a cirrhotic liver, it's just a picture because I just want the medical. So now when you have cirrhosis, there are set guidelines by various groups. So these are the guidelines that they are given, but nobody can remember, but just basically remember less than 1 centimeter ones we can actually monitor them. 1 to 2 centimeters we have to just go for further evaluation, and more than 2 of course definitely we have to evaluate and see what it is, right? So these are guidelines are available, like if you go to NCC guidelines, there are guidelines available, right? Ultrasound scan is the mode of screening for these patients, and sensitivity is very good with bigger lesions, but smaller lesions sensitivity is poor. Now problem with ultrasound scanning detecting hepatocellular carcinomas in cirrhotic livers is because even the dysplastic nodules will appear like this. So it is very difficult actually for them to kind of make a definitive diagnosis, right? But usually they will be hypodense lesions, and there will be background of cirrhosis. So there will be increased echogenicity. The borders will be regular in ultrasound scan, and if you look at there will be varices around the liver. Right, so those are the lesions. Those are the features that you will detect, and this is one of the lesions, hypodense lesions. You can see it's a hypoechoic lesion that you see here. So in a background of cirrhosis, the echogenicity of the remaining liver is high, and this will appear like a hypoechoic lesion. If you do a contrast and CT scan, we know that hepatocellular carcinomas are usually arterial. It's supplied by arteries. So it quickly lights up during arterial phase, and there will be a washout. So if you look at the next picture, I'm showing a CT scan report. This is a arterial phase. You can see the aorta been light up. So it's a arterial, very early arterial phase. You can see the lesion, and then when you, this is the delayed phase. You can see the blood in the IVC also. So now you can't see it, right? So this is because it does a quick washout. So this is very characteristic of a hepatocellular carcinoma, and you can make a good a definitive diagnosis of hepatocellular carcinoma from this.